Hey rockers, welcome back to the channel, and I appreciate all your support. Some of you people amaze me with your kindness, and I really can't say thank you enough. Tonight, just a short story, man, or today, whenever I'm posting this. But thank you so much, and I hope you dig this story. It's a short one about Grace Slick, former singer for the Great Society, Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, and Starship. And of course, a very awesome artist in her own right. The deal is, I ended up writing to Grace Slick, and I'll tell you what happened, but just a little simple bit of information about Grace Slick. Of course, she was originally a model turned singer. She was a member of the Great Society from 1965 to 1966. They released one single, the original version of Somebody to Love, which was later re-recorded by the Jefferson Airplane and one of their best-known songs. She was with Jefferson Airplane because the first singer for Jefferson Airplane, Signe Tolley Anderson, left the band to raise her child, and Jack Cassidy invited Grace to be a part of the Airplane, and she joined. And she was with the band from 1966 until 1972, and again for the reunion tour and reunion album in 1989. That's right. Also, she did some solo work, and then she was a part of the band Starship from 1984 to 1988 until she did join the reformed Airplane. Grace got disillusioned basically with the whole pop life, with the band's commercial pop image, and she vowed to never perform with Starship again or Jefferson Starship. She retired from music in 1990 to focus on doing artwork, which is a commendable thing. Many artists, many musicians, I should say, become artists or do other things outside of music if they get out of it, because they're creative and they've got it in their blood, you know. And Grace Slick did some good art, man, which was displayed across the United States in many art galleries. And so she focused on that. She did occasionally perform after leaving, you know, the biz and all that stuff. But she was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Jefferson Airplane in 1996, rightfully so. I am a longtime fan of the Jefferson Airplane. Got to meet Jack Cassidy and Yorma from Hot Tuna. Got to see those guys play 2 or 3 times, and man, it was great meeting those guys. I'll have to do a story sometime on Hot Tuna and meeting those guys. That was cool. But, you know, I did hear that Grace Slick has since retired completely, and she's living in Malibu, California. But back in the early 2000s, I was an autograph collector, but I lost most of my collection in the 2020 Alameda fires, which came through Northern California and Southern Oregon, where I'm at. Bummer. I had so much stuff, man. For 50 years, I'd collected rock and roll merchandise, memorabilia, and I was planning to open a little pop culture museum. That all burned. All my storage units, I had 2 of them. All my stuff, 95% of my life stuff was there. We were living in a tiny home, so we didn't have much with us. Sad story, but what are you going to do, right? But I wrote to Grace Slick, guys, and I decided to go for it. Somebody had given me her address, and I thought, I'm going to write Grace, and I'm going to ask her for an autograph picture for my collection, right? Well, nothing happened. And then about a month later, I checked my mailbox when I was living in Peoria, Illinois. Shout out Central Illinois. And there was a letter from California from Grace Slick with a handwritten envelope, handwritten letter on a regular loose leaf lined piece of not even college ruled, just the regular lines, I guess, whatever that's called. Maybe that is college ruled, or is that the skinny lines? Hell, I don't know. Never thought I'd be talking about paper. Anyway, Grace Slick wrote me a letter back, and I can remember part of it. It was a piece of paper about this size, exactly like this, and it was written all the way down to here in like black thin Sharpie marker, and it said, "Hi there, I really appreciate you writing to me, but these days I have no need for glitz and glam as I'm no longer doing music. I'm focusing on art now." And that's what she said. And she said a couple other kind things and wished me well and said, you know, she appreciated the time and that I was a fan, but she was just done with the business. And, you know, for a fan like me to have somebody as just this, the name Grace Slick is synonymous with like 60s, 70s rock, Woodstock, you know, all these great festivals and great records. You know, I'm a big fan, as I say. Before I found punk rock, metal, and all the other genres that I got into later, my early heroes were, you know, the Jefferson Airplane, Jack Cassidy, Grace Slick, Jim Morrison, you know, the guys from the band Love, Arthur Lee, you know, Sky Saxon, Moby Grape. There's a lot of trippy people, Neil Young. And then later, of course, there was Johnny Rotten and people like that, man. But hey, Neil Young sung about Johnny Rotten. And, you know, I want to say long live Grace Slick. She's had a great career, great front person. She did some crazy stuff in her time, like the time she visited the White House and she had planned to put LSD into the coffee of President Nixon. Now, I don't want to get into it too much because I don't have all the details in my head. And if I get it wrong, you're going to tell me. And I don't want to hear it, man. I'm just trying my best. But man, that's a trippy story, huh? Trying to put some like acid in the president's drink? Wow. But I don't think it ever happened. Matter of fact, I know it didn't. And imagine if she would have. What kind of things would have happened then? Imagine Nixon on, you know, tripping. Wow. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to my short story about the legendary Grace Slick. I hope she lives long and has a good health, and I hope she stays along as, you know, around as long as her physical body is in good health. Thanks for being here, man, and I will be back with more rock, metal, punk rock, classic rock, curveball, and other stories. In the meantime, cheers. Stay warm, man.